Hi you guys. So this is kind of an impromptu video, mostly because of everything that's going on right now, but once again the world is in shambles, and it is because of what happened with George Floyd and the officer who obviously did not know what he was doing. Now, initially watching this video, your reaction's probably, you are a young white chick. What in the world right do you have to be talking about this issue? Well, I don't. And I am well aware that I don't. But I have a good friend of mine. If any of you guys have watched my karaoke videos, or my video of him singing Space Between, you guys know DJ Blackman. Which that video is going to be linked below so that you know I'm not talking out my ass here. He's a really good friend of mine. And he's a co-owner in the bar that I used to frequent when it was open. And he and I were talking about everything the other day. We were texting about this, and he goes, black people fighting for black rights isn't working. He says the only way that a change can be made is if white people begin to fight for black rights. And that's really, really sad to hear. But he's not wrong. Nobody wants to listen to what people are going through with this, how people are scared to go out at night and are worried about being pulled over by a cop just for speeding, or anything for that matter, even for doing nothing wrong. Now, here's my point on this, on the protests. There are protests done right, and there are protests done very wrong. Recently, in my town, we had a protest. It was a peaceful protest. They did very well with it. It was at one of our local Walmarts, and I want to show you guys the video from that, which you can see here.
No justice! We are the Taylor! We are the Taylor! We are the Taylor! No peace! 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 Pass it up! Everyone is available! No peace! No peace! Black Lives Matter! 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 Black Lives Matter!
Now, I was proud to see this happen. I did not participate in it, unfortunately. It was at my brother's job, and I was not going to risk getting him fired, unfortunately. But I was proud to see the turnout they had. And they walked for hours. I believe it started at 3 and they were there at 10 o'clock when my husband went to go pick up my brother from work. So even after it got dark, they continued to walk and chant. And it was chants like, "I can't breathe," and "Black Lives Matter," and it was peaceful, and it got some recognition in the area, but it wasn't, it as much as I hate to say it, it probably didn't do anything for bringing attention to the matter. What you did see, though, in that video is that there were a lot of white people. Which, like DJ Blackman said, that's unfortunately what is probably needed to have attention brought to this. Recently in Washington, D.C., there was a protest in front of the White House, and protesters were flash bombed and pepper sprayed and basically locked down in a neighborhood close by. And there was this whole big story about it, I'm sure you guys have seen, about homeowners bringing 100 people, I've seen numbers ranging from 62 to 100, into their home and giving them food and shelter and first aid and all of that, while the police in Washington were just attempting to arrest everyone. That is when a protest is handled wrong. And it's embarrassing for a lot of people to see, because I have a friend who's a cop. And I've had friends and family members who have known cops and have been in relationships with cops and the whole 9 yards. It's not unusual. I say my friend's a cop. My sister, who is Puerto Rican, her boyfriend is a cop. And, you know, I know the one thing that nobody wants to hear right now is not all cops are bad, but as much as that keeps being said, a lot of people also need to realize that not all white people are shit, and not all black people are these ignorant monsters that the media makes out these looters and non-peaceful protesters to be. Because that's what they're doing. They're not focusing on the good protests. There was a protest, I don't remember where it was, but I had it sent to me, where all they did was lay down in front of City Hall for 7 minutes chanting, "I can't breathe." There have been multiple peaceful protests where they've not gone violent, they have not looted, they have not done anything. And the media is not covering those. What the media is covering is the protests that get violent, and the protests where people are looting and setting things on fire and destroying businesses. And what they're trying to do is the media is trying to make black people look bad. And to make these people look worse. And that's the horrifying part of it, is that they're doing this because it gets ratings, and they're doing it because it's what gets watched. But no, all it is spinning the story wrong. Because, once again, these few people do not represent the entire race of people. And they're all making it, they're not focusing on all of the good that's happening and all of the change that should be happening. All they're doing is making it seem as if these protests are just a way of proving that, I don't even know. It's a way of making somebody look bad. making an entire race of people look bad. And it's stupid. I don't know what to say on this matter. I don't know I don't know how anything I could say can even matter. Because I'm not a part of it. I'm not afraid to get pulled over by a cop. I'm not afraid to go out at night and wear a hoodie. I'm not afraid of being prosecuted for nothing. Because I am safe. I am a 21-year-old white chick. I am married to a 25-year-old white dude. There is nothing to fear. But there are so many people I went to high school with, so many people I used to work with, who live in fear constantly. Just because the pigment of their skin. The fact that it is 2020 and racism is still a fucking problem. This was a big deal when Lincoln was freeing slaves. This was a big deal when John Lawrence had an entire battalion of black slaves to fight in the Revolution. Why is this still a problem? Racism is not something that you are born with. It is something that parents teach their children. And then it becomes a nasty cycle. And half the time you change and that you can see the difference, because obviously you can't. There is something like this every single year in America. Because people can't seem to get it through their thick skulls that the color of your skin doesn't matter jack shit. Now, I know this video is a long rant about this from a white chick whose opinion doesn't matter. But that's exactly what's needed. Unfortunately, it seems like nobody is going to listen to black people when they are telling you they deserve rights. So maybe it takes a bunch of young white people to say, hey, guess what? They're people too. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Share your opinion on the matter. Tell me what you think. Comment below. Share your story. Maybe the more people who use this, to use YouTube to get this point across, use social media, blow it out of proportion, talk about it, throw it in their faces. Maybe somebody will finally listen. The sad part is that I really have no hope in that, though. You can't fix stupid. And that's really all this is. That's all racism is stupid. And for some reason, nothing's changed.